2025 Skoda Kodiaq Review. Pros: excellent practicality, great new tech and design, positive drive experience. Cons: couldn't test the petrol model. We don't get the newer generation base engine. Some stiff competition. It hit the Australian market when buyers were looking for a European 3-row model that didn't break the bank. Volkswagen didn't have a 7-seater at the time, and an Audi Q7 was about double the price. Now the Kodiaq has entered its second generation, scoring new underpinnings from the Volkswagen Group MQB Evo toolkit, a new exterior look that makes it arguably more palatable than the previous one, and some big interior improvements, not to mention a technology overhaul. Care Expert had a chance to sample the new Kodiaq in Germany, and while the model driven wasn't completely representative of what Australia will see, this family-friendly high-rider is a big improvement over its excellent predecessor. How much does the Skoda Kodiaq cost? Australian pricing and specifications for the new generation Kodiaq are still to be confirmed. It arrives locally around February 2025, so pricing should be released in the first few weeks of the new year. In the meantime, Skoda Australia has confirmed it will continue to offer 3 grades of the Kodiaq. The entry-level model will be called the Select, and we've been told it won't stray far from the existing style's price and positioning despite a significant bump in standard equipment. For reference, the outgoing Kodiaq style is currently $56,490 drive away. The Sport line will form the middle ground in the Kodiaq range, with a sportier look inside and out, and no doubt a few extra features. The Sport line model in the outgoing range recently had a $5,000 price cut to match the style at $56,490 drive away. The range-topping Rs model is priced at $76,890 drive away in outgoing model form. The latest take on the theme hasn't yet been revealed, but a second-generation Rs price in the $70,000 range seems likely. As with the existing range, all models sold in Australia will be petrol-powered, and will come as standard with 7 seats. To see how the Skoda Kodiaq stacks up against its rivals, use our comparison tool. What is the Skoda Kodiaq like on the inside? The previous Kodiaq was still one of our favorites in the segment, because it truly lived up to what we've come to expect from Skoda's simply clever mantra. The new one looks more special thanks to its revised design, bigger touchscreen, and new materials and trims. Thankfully, however, the brand hasn't strayed from what worked so well first time around. That new 15-inch touchscreen media system is a big differentiator, at almost twice the diameter of the last display. While products from the Volkswagen Group have copped some criticism over software quirks, the screen here is easy enough to get to grips with. I managed to learn most of the menus that I needed within just a few minutes of driving. A lot of that is down to Skoda's new smart dials, which make interacting with some of the main controls far simpler than having to learn your way through the menus on the display. The smart dials are configurable, tactile controls with small displays inside that allow you adjust certain elements of the car. The middle dial can be customized to control fan speed, airflow, volume, drive modes, or map zoom. 2 other dials sit either side of it for climate control, and you push the dial in to adjust seat heating and cooling, if equipped. They are indeed smarter than using the touch screen for all that stuff, but you can do that if you wish. There's also a terrific screen wipe for the touch screen that eliminates fingerprints in just a second or two. Expect standard built-in sat navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a beautiful digital instrument cluster. For the most part, the technology in the new Kodiaq is simple, and the controls are manageable. These include the shortcuts to disable the safety systems that may annoy you. It takes just a couple of steering wheel button presses to turn off the lane keeping assist and speed sign bing bong noises. Up front there's a sizable center console bin, cup holders between the seats, and a coverable storage zone where the gear selector would traditionally be placed. It's a column-mounted shift-by-wire one instead. The latter also houses 2 USB-C ports and a pair of wireless phone chargers. Material quality has clearly been a focus, with lovely touches to the cabin trim on the dashboard, doors, and between the seats. Our German test vehicle had a convincing part leather, part vinyl finish, with seat heating and cooling for the front occupants. Second row space is good enough for a 6-footer behind someone similarly sized, with manageable leg dash, foot and head space, and ample shoulder room. 3 adults across the back is doable and 3 child seats should be too. The second row seats have a sliding function that allows you to allow for more space in the back. As a family hauler, there are ISOFIX points in the window seats and 3 top tethers in the second row, but no positions for kiddos in the very back row. This might make something like a Hyundai Santa Fe or Kia Sorento appeal more to you, as they can accommodate child seats in the very back. There are armrests over the wheel arches in the third row, as well as a decent amount of headroom thanks to the boxy back design. With all the seats up, there's a claimed 340 liters of boot space. This expands up to 910 liters with the third row of seats folded, which is excellent for the class. The cargo area includes a space-saver spare wheel under the boot floor, shopping bag hooks on the sides, and a pair of crevasses on either side of the floor area for loose items. To see how the Skoda Kodiaq stacks up against its rivals, use our comparison tool. What's under the bonnet? Australia won't get the diesel engine I drove in Europe. There is no market for diesels in Australia, according to Skoda, with the new Vehicle Efficiency Standard, NVES, mandates killing that segment for newcomers. That means, like the outgoing model, the new Kodiaq will be a petrol-only lineup in Australia. Final specs are still to be determined, but we've been told the base model Select and mid-spec Sport line variants will have a 2.0-liter turbo petrol engine with 140 kilowatts, with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission and all-wheel drive as standard. The engine for the range-topping RS variant hasn't been confirmed yet. It'll likely score the same engine as the superb Sport line and the updated Golf GTI, a 2.0-liter turbocharged petrol with 195 kW/400 Nm. Skoda hasn't published details on the towing capacity of its higher-capacity petrol engines yet, but you can expect an unbraked capacity of 750 kg. Brake towing is expected to be between 2,000 kg and 2,500 kg for the models sold down under. To see how the Skoda Kodiaq stacks up against its rivals, use our comparison tool. How does the Skoda Kodiaq drive? The version of the Kodiaq on test in Germany for this review didn't feature a relevant powertrain for our market. It's a shame because the 2.0-liter turbo diesel is a terrific unit, offering great low to mid-range oomph and surprisingly good refinement. Instead, Aussies will get petrol models only, and they'll no doubt be delightful if the previous version of the Kodiaq is anything to go by. What was also delightful in this instance was the drivability of the new Kodiaq. Across a mix of different scenarios including traffic around Munich airport and the surrounding arterial roads, some stretches of unrestricted autobahn driving, to twisting mountain roads and tight streets in high-altitude villages, this family-focused SUV is an absolute charm to drive. The steering is precise and well-weighted, making it easy enough to dart back to the edge of the road when oncoming traffic strays too close to the median, but also allowing for simple parking moves. That's once I got my head around that gear selector. You twist up to go forwards, down to go backwards. The visibility from the driver's seat impresses, with a good forward view, nice side mirror vision, though with people in the second and third rows I couldn't see out the back. A digital rear view mirror would alleviate this. On the parking front, our tester came equipped with a surround view system, as well as front and rear parking sensors with auto braking that helped when a silly pedestrian decided to walk exactly where I was reversing. The ride comfort is very well suited to this sort of vehicle, with a smooth and comfortable status on most surfaces I drove on, though sharp edges did catch the front suspension out a bit at times. Skoda Kodiaq Sport line highlights. Gloss black exterior highlights. Matrix LED headlights. LED daytime running lights. LED tail lights with sequential indicators. Power tailgate. 19-inch alloys, 20-inch units may be offered in Australia. Proximity entry and push-button start. Sport line design selection interior trim. Electric seat adjustment. Driver's seat memory. Ambient interior lighting. Dark headliner. Suedia trim finishes. Contrast gray stitching. 3-spoke sports steering wheel. 10-inch virtual cockpit digital instrument cluster. 13-inch touchscreen infotainment display. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Power folding door mirrors. Satellite navigation. DAB plus digital radio. Wireless phone charger. Smart dials. To see how the Skoda Kodiaq stacks up against its rivals, use our comparison tool. Is the Skoda Kodiaq safe? Euro NCAP put the new generation Skoda Kodiaq through its testing in 2024, and the result was the maximum 5-star rating. It has carried over to NCAP just yet. It achieved 89% for adult occupant protection, 83% for child occupant protection, 82% for vulnerable road user protection and 78% for its safety assist systems. Standard safety technology includes autonomous emergency braking, AEB, pedestrian, cyclist, head-on and junction detection, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, travel assist, lane centering, parking assist, reversing camera, front and rear parking sensors with auto braking. The new Kodiaq is expected to be offered with up to 9 airbags, dual front, front center, front side, rear side and full-length curtain coverage. To see how the Skoda Kodiaq stacks up against its rivals, use our comparison tool.